The Newspaper by Sebastian Mateus Costi.
Step 1. Raise and extract. The first step to making the newspaper is getting the paper. Woodworkers and lumberjacks will go to forests and cut down trees. From there, the large trunks are brought to the logging area where they are to be cleaned. To produce a week's worth of Sunday papers, 500,000 trees are cut down. If we were to recycle an entire batch of the Sunday New York Times, it would end up saving 75,000 trees.
Step 1 continued. Once the trees have been cut down, the process of logging takes place. This is where they clean up and ready the wood for transport. After all this, they are taken to the trucks, tied down, and brought to the factories to undergo pulping. The legal weight allowed for these trucks to carry is approximately 80,000 to 88,000 pounds, or 4,000 to 5,000 board feet.
Step 2. Process. The next step is to grind up the logs and add water to bring the wood to a white, mushy pulp, which will be later transformed into sheets of paper. Recycled newspapers have to be repulped in the process of making new newspapers. The paper can be recycled up to 4 times before pulping takes the majority of its reusability.
Step 2 continued. Once pulping is complete, the pulp is repeatedly pressed and steamed to form a whole, dry, and flat sheet of paper. The paper is then put into large rolls as they then proceed to their next step of printing. Using current machinery for paper production lines, it costs roughly $72,500 in order to make 10 to 15 tons of paper per day.
Step 3. Manufacture. Once the paper is ready, it will be printed upon and cut so it can be packaged and shipped to various destinations. Large printing presses are used to continuously print on long, ongoing rolls of paper, to be afterwards cut and folded up.
Step 3 continued. Once the newspapers are folded and packaged, they are ready to be transported to a number of different places. These could be newsstands, convenience stores, the newspaper companies themselves, etc. As of June 2019, there were 38,784 newspaper businesses. In 2019, $14.8 billion were spent on newspaper advertising. It is expected to consistently drop to a total of $12.02 billion come 2022.
Step 4. Use. All that's left is sending it out to the people. This can be achieved with a number of different methods, like daily or weekly subscriptions that deliver them to your door, or a little food stand in NYC could have them displayed so you can easily pick one up on your commute to work. Approximately 56 million newspapers are sold daily. On Sunday, that number increases and reaches 60 million.
Step 4 continued. Once the newspaper is bought, it obviously has to be used by the consumer. People pass the time with these in a variety of ways. They go from reading while on the train to relaxing at home with the newspaper and coffee at hand.
Step 5. Dispose. The final stage of a newspaper's life is its disposal. More and more people are beginning to recycle their newspapers. About 73% of all U.S. newspapers are recycled. This amounts to 9 million tons of newspapers being recycled out of a total of 13 million tons. If every newspaper was recycled, we would save around 250 million trees a year. Recycled newspaper is not only used to create more newspaper. In fact, only around 31% of all recycled newspapers gets used in their reproduction.
Step 5 continued. There is also the alternative, which is recycling it into something for everyday use. This can be expressed in a variety of different ways. There are some examples of things people have made with These are some examples of things people have made with leftover newspapers.
These are our sources.
Phase 1 Design Brief. Sebastian Mateus Costi. Design Brief. Designer. Boston Newsletter, first U.S. newspaper company.
Target consumer, anyone who wants to stay up to date on current events. Client, newspaper companies.
Problem statement. The people of Boston don't have a way to obtain information about things happening around them.
Design statement, to design and manufacture a convenient, cheap, and efficient way to get information to the people.
Design constraints. Should cost less than $1 to make. Should be black and white. Should be able to print approximately 80,000 copies in an hour.
Design criteria, has to be easy and simple to use. Size has to accommodate the amount of information and words written. Must have current events. Thank you for watching.